think there's going to be a different player every single game that has the big game. It's not going to be just necessarily Tyreek and Travis every single week where it's like one or the other is having a big game or both. It's going to be every single week. It's going to be someone different. So I'm sorry to all you fantasy football guys, but it's going to come from everywhere. So you're going to have to kind of choose the right guy every week.
Coverage on Sports Radio 810 is brought to you by Westlake Ace Hardware. Visit your local Westlake Ace Hardware today. Online at westlakehardware.com. Westlake Ace Hardware. Small projects, big know-how. Ask away.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Season just about to get started for real. How excited are you with this group that you've gone to battle with in training camp to see what they can do?
Yeah, super excited. The biggest thing I think is just getting those guys out there. We've put in the practice now. We put in the work. One more week of kind of game planning, getting ready for the Cardinals, a great football team. But I'm excited to see these guys in game action. And preseason's one thing, but when it gets to the regular season, it gets real. So I'm excited to get these guys out there and see what we got.
Pat, I got to ask you, with all the slander and disrespect that seems to be going around lately, where it seems like that now you all aren't the hunter, but you can be the hunter now. People are going with Joe Burrows and Justin Herbert and Josh Allen as the MVP and winning the conference and everything and winning the Super Bowl. What type of motivation does that do for you as well as the team?
I think you should be motivated every year. In this league, everybody starts at zero. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody has a chance to go out there and win the Super Bowl. If you don't have that motivation every single year to get to those, to win the AFC West, to win the AFC, and then to win the Super Bowl, then you're in the wrong profession. And I think we have the guys in here that are excited about it, excited about the chance to go out there and win every single week. But it all starts off this week one against a great football team in the Arizona Cardinals. So we're excited to get out there and kind of show what we've been putting together and show who we are.
Patrick, you're facing Cliff Kingsbury, an old friend of yours, obviously. He said it's surreal to face you. What do you think it's like? What do you think it's going to be like to face him?
Yeah, same. I mean, it's someone who's taught me a ton, not only about football but about life. He got me kind of out of high school where I was a baseball player trying to play football and basically trying to be on my own. You're leaving the household and kind of being on your own, and he helped me become who I am today. And it'll be cool to get to play against him. Hopefully I get the win because you'll have those little bragging rights, because I see him every once in a while in the off season and out in Lubbock and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be an awesome moment that we'll have forever. Just hopefully I get the win, so I get those bragging rights for the rest of the time.
I was about to say, how often do you keep in touch with him?
I stay in touch with him a good amount. I mean, we talk about Texas Tech football. One of our guys, Zach Kitley's the offensive coordinator, who was with us there at Texas Tech. And so we kind of keep in touch through all kind of a group message with all those guys. And so it'll be cool to get to go up against them. There won't be a lot of communication this week. I know that. So we're going to go out there, and I know he's going to have his team ready to go. He has the track record where they start off fast and they do a lot of great things. So we're going to have our best effort if we want to go out there and win a football game.
Patrick, when Tech first started recruiting you, was that your junior year? Were they sort of the first on board?
They're really the first and only because I didn't get recruited by much. I mean, I got a couple other offers from some smaller schools and stuff like that in the Texas area, but they were the one school, and I credit to Kingsbury. He was the one that came down, saw me, talked to my family, and did everything like that and believed in me. And I think that's a reason I'm in this position is he gave me that chance.
And no names, but didn't the University of Texas see you as a defensive back at that point?
Yeah, but I was playing defensive back at that time in their defense, and I said it, man. I was like 6'2", 180, and had like 6 picks. So I mean, maybe I could have played defensive back. You never know.
When your last season at Tech ended, and you were trying to decide to either come back or go to the draft, what advice did Cliff have for you, one way or the other?
I think the biggest piece of advice he gave me was he said be all in either way. If that was coming back to Texas Tech and trying to do whatever I can to win the Big 12 championship, to make my draft grade go higher, and I'll do all that different type of stuff, he said to do that. But if I do make that step and go to the NFL, just to give everything I have. And, I mean, that's kind of what I got from a lot of the people around me. And I think it all worked out because I was projected second, third round pick, and I went in there, did everything I could in training, and not training camp, but the combine training, and then got to the Chiefs and kind of kept that same mentality, and it's helped me kind of become the player that I am.
You talked a minute ago about how he helped you get where you are. Is there things you can quantify, things you can point to say, hey, here's how he helped me?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you see with a lot of young quarterbacks is whenever they get to a coach, they kind of try to restrict them and kind of make them be this model of how the quarterback position is supposed to be played. And I think he was early in the game of just saying, hey, let's maximize your strengths. And he would teach me here and there how to kind of be more mechanical and get in the pocket and the fundamentals of the game. But he never restricted who I was. And I think that's kind of, I mean, obviously amplified with Coach Reed now. But it was something where I could have went somewhere and they could have tried to make me this pocket quarterback who kind of had the right fundamentals. But he let me be who I was, kind of on and off the field, and it helped me become the player that I am.
So does he know how to stop you then?
I hope not. I haven't played against him yet. But I'm sure he has a few more tricks that he might know from my college days. But I feel like I've grown a lot in those since I've been in the NFL. So hopefully we can combat that. But I'm sure he has a good idea of who I am. But it's a hard offense to stop altogether, and I think that's what makes his offense so great.
What is the team's model this year? Obviously, when you lost in 18 to New England, you knew the next year, hey, we got to complete the mission. Year after that was trying to run it back. Last year, of course, we know about the second half. You're going to start the season in Arizona where you hope to end it in February. What's the message, what's the motivating factor that you tell all the new players and the new additions to the team to try to complete what you couldn't do last year?
Yeah, I think it's just keeping the edge of just going out there every single day and getting better. We have a lot of new guys, but we have some guys that we've had for a long time, and you don't want to get complacent with where you're at. You want to make sure you're getting better and better, and we have to set that example and keep that edge so that the guys that have came in here, they understand that and they know how to get better. And so we can start off this week one, hopefully get a win, but keep building as the season goes on.
You guys have solid preseason, but obviously the regular season is a different game. With all the turnover of new offensive personnel, just without saying too much, obviously, but how different is this thing going to look to you? How surprised do you think people will be when they see this first glimpse of your offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just going to be, I think there's going to be a different player every single game that has the big game. It's not going to be just necessarily Tyreek and Travis every single week where it's like one or the other is having a big game or both. It's going to be every single week it's going to be someone different. So I'm sorry to all you fantasy football guys, but it's going to come from everywhere, so you're going to have to kind of choose the right guy every week.
We're just getting used to all these new guys. You obviously learn stuff throughout training camp, the preseason games. What do you feel like you really need a regular season game in order to learn?
I think it's just you see those guys who really want to compete. I think that's the biggest thing. You see what a guy really has underneath because when you're in the preseason or when you're in training camp, I mean, you're grinding and you're doing all that different stuff and you're going through adversity, but at the same time, you kind of know that it's not real. When it becomes real, you see what a guy truly has underneath, and I think we have the guys that have it and they can go out there and find ways to win at the end of the day.
What qualities do you see that makes you say that? That gives you confidence they are those?
Yeah, you see from the moments whenever Coach Reed puts us in these game situations and you see guys step up, whenever the play is not perfect, whenever you got to kind of make plays happen. You've seen guys make those tough catches. You've seen guys make those contested catches. And then you learn about their personalities of where they've come from, and you understand that these guys they have that grit, they have that toughness to go out there and win football games however it takes.
Let's go, Neil. Go ahead, Neil.
Do you know Kyler Murray? You guys run into each other down in Dallas much?
We don't run into each other much, but I definitely know him. I've met him a couple times. I mean, I've seen him since he was a sophomore or freshman in high school, just dominating the Dallas DFW area, really all of Texas and the country. And he's a winner. He's someone who's won everywhere he's been. He's extremely talented, and it'll be a tough test for any defense, but for us, and we're going to have to go out there and compete if we want to win the football game.
Patrick, for the season opener in 2018, I remember you explaining how nervous you were, but how excited because really no one in the NFL had sort of seen you yet with the full offense. I'm just wondering, is there a similar feeling this year because of the new skill set at receiver, and do you think that gives you all an advantage to some degree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely excited just to get out there. Like I said, I think it's just going to be a diverse offense where everybody's going to get the ball. So it'll be hard for defenses to game plan against. But I'm interested to see how defenses are going to go against us. Are they going to do the shell stuff that we saw most of the year? Are they going to do what the Bengals did against us in the AFC Championship game? Or are they going to go back to going with defenses they feel the most confident with? So I'm excited for that, but we have answers for it all, and we're excited just to get out there and play.
We'll go three more. Let's go Dave, Steve, and then Vi. Go ahead, Dave.
The three wide receivers you brought in, I mean, one of them is coming from catching passes from Tom, one from Big Ben, one from Aaron Rodgers. Those are three pretty good quarterbacks, too. Is it noticeable when a guy is coming in from that kind of background as opposed to maybe a different wide receiver? Like, is there anything that you notice that maybe they've picked up along the way that's kind of...
I think the biggest thing from coming from quarterbacks like that, especially ones that have played for a long time and been great for a long time, is they understand how to do stuff the way the quarterback wants it done. I mean, not necessarily how it's drawn up on paper. All three of those guys, whenever you tell them something, they make sure to make that adjustment in their routes because they know that's kind of what they've dealt with their entire career. Sometimes when you get guys from other places, they just run the route how it's supposed to be ran, but these guys have a great understanding of not only running the route, but understand the coverage as they're running it and how it affects everybody.
Patrick, you talked a minute ago about you're eager to see how teams are going to defense you guys this year. Obviously, you're prepared for everything for Sunday's game, but what are you expecting to see from the Cardinals in that regard?
I mean, the Cardinals are going to do a little bit of everything. I mean, if you watched the film on them and seen them all last year with Vance Joseph, someone I've played a couple times when he was at Denver, he's going to throw you every single pitch. He has a great job of mixing up his coverages, mixing up his blitz pressures, and we're not going to be correct 100% of the time. I mean, he's going to have different coverages that get me during the game. It's about limiting the mistakes in that game, and then whenever you do get your opportunities, executing on it.
Steve.
Patrick, I haven't been able to ask you this since it was released. I know a lot of kids are excited. My son Peyton is excited. Rate your Fortnite skin?
Dude, I think it's sweet, both of them. The Gladiator one, always. I mean, that thing was sweet. We just had like the bazooka arm or whatever you want to call it, and then the pickaxes and everything like that. I helped design that one, so it was big. And then they wanted to throw a fun one out there, so the ketchup bottle, obviously, I think was fun. And I think I still look pretty clean with the suit on.
So you play Fortnite a lot?
I haven't played with my skin just yet, just because I'm in the middle of the season. But I'm hoping to get out there and play with it a little bit and catch some dubs.
Last one, bye.
Patrick, is it correct that you sent Cliff a little eyes emoji after you saw the schedule?
Yeah, I did, because Coach Reed Coach Reed's, he's got the people inside the buildings everywhere. So he knew the schedule before it even came out. So I just sent him the emoji, and I think he knew right then that it was going to be the week one against each other. But that's his type of relationship we have, man. I mean, he's a great guy. And like I said, it's a great football team, so it's going to be a great test for us early.